Hello again. Welcome to the Julia Monte channel. I am Julia Monte, a women's fiction author, and I'm really happy that you're here. So today what we are going to talk about is a lot of people want to write a book. They want to create their own stories. And I'm really excited because I created a course for beginning writers. So there's a lot of different stages of writing, right? When you're first thinking of the idea, when you're in the middle of writing, when you are in your editing process, when you're publishing your book. So there's different stages that you're going to be going through. And one of the things I was thinking is, okay, what do I want to create a course on? At some point, I will create courses for every single stage of the writing process, but I thought I might as well just start at the beginning. So starting where I started, right? So when I first wanted to write, what were some of the things that I needed to know? How did I need to start? What are some things that could kind of speed up the process for someone who is just thinking of writing their own story, their own book? And so I spent the second half of 2020 thinking, what is it that I want to create and how can I help, a beginning writer the most? So I'm super excited. Created the course and have it hosted and did all the stuff that I needed to get done to prepare for this. And I'm actually starting to run like Facebook ads, and so we'll see how that goes. I'm really excited about that. So today I thought I would talk about like some of the things that worry people about how do I if I do start writing, like what do I do? Do I just quit my job and become a writer? I don't recommend that. That's not something that you want to do because it takes a while. It takes a while, and honestly, I don't recommend going into writing as something that's going to be replacing your job or your income, because it is very difficult to make money writing. It's not impossible, obviously, because people do it all the time, but it's not something that I would say, okay, I'm just going to dedicate everything and I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to do everything. So you don't want to do that. But the good thing is that it's one of the least expensive careers, right? Or businesses that you could start, and you don't have to give everything up to start writing, because really what it requires is that you just start writing. So that you start, you sit down with your idea and you plan it out, and that you start thinking, about how you want to, if it's a novel, how you're going to plot the novel, or if it's a memoir, what is the point of that memoir? Like, what is it that you want the reader to know? So it's not going to be the history of your life, but it's going to be a story. So when you think of memoirs, it's what it is. It's a story of a certain part of your life and how it impacted you, and hopefully that people can relate to, and that it shows them how to deal with a certain thing, right? That you also dealt with. So anyhow, the good thing is that it doesn't cost a whole lot of money to get started. You just sit down and you start to write. So if you have a computer and a place to sit down and a chair, then you're ready to go. You can also write in a notebook or a journal, right, to just get started. But it's relatively inexpensive compared to other businesses. I do recommend as time goes on, right? So what is it that you need to do to improve? So first you're just going to start writing your story. And then, you might pick up some books. So one of the things that I did is when I first started writing is I had no idea really, not even the publishing business. I just had no idea how to actually plot, or how do I develop my characters, and how do I deal with dialogue well. All of those elements of writing that you need to master. And so I would buy books, and so at first I would buy a lot of books. So I would go out and spend any extra income that I had on books, and I would read the books, and I would learn about I would learn about that. So I would like read a book on plotting. It's like, oh, that was really good. Let me find another book on plotting. And so I would find another book on plotting. And, once you read enough of them, a lot of it ends up being very similar. So at first, like, oh yeah, there's a little gem in this book, and there's another little gem in this book that I can pull out and learn about. Adding conflict to books and hitting the key scenes or whatever, that particular book was focusing on. And so I learned a lot, right, by reading books and by implementing the things that I read in my books. And then once, that created a little bit more of a commitment and a little bit more of my own income buying books, but it wasn't a lot. And it wasn't like I was spending hundreds of dollars, maybe over time. Yeah. But at first it was just, $10 here, $15 there. And it helped me a lot so that I was improving. And then, after that, where else did I end up spending money? Courses. So like what I'm doing now, is creating courses for people. Are they expensive? Not really. I mean, considering what, if you wanted to learn something, anything you wanted to learn, it costs a little money, but not a lot. And you can find courses for, all kinds of price ranges. It just depends on if now there aren't a lot of things in person, but hopefully we're moving back towards getting a lot more in person. But is the course at a college? Is the course online? Is the course presented by, a super famous author that has rented a hall, so it just depends on a lot of things. But you can find all kinds of great courses. It's just, and there's some that aren't very expensive and some that are more pricier. It just depends on what you want to do. So when I was first starting with public speaking, and I did not like it at all. I'm now getting used to the camera, but before it was just getting used to speaking in front of people. And I took a few courses on public speaking. And a few of them weren't very expensive. I joined Toastmasters, which isn't very expensive, just a little bit dues I forget what it was, every month or so. But then I took a really expensive public speaking course that was very exclusive, and there were really interesting people there. I even met the guy who did the voice of Goofy in a few movies, and I thought, wow, that's relatively interesting. And my son at that time was really, really into. There was a certain Goofy movie with Goofy and his son, and so I had him record like the Goofy voice for my son. It was really cute. Anyhow, so that public speaking course was expensive, but I thought, well, it's worth it for me, right? So there's different price ranges, and then there are things like conferences and workshops that you can go to, which you can or not. I mean, they're expensive, but they're not that expensive. They can range anywhere from like $300 to, I guess, $1,000 for a workshop where you go and you're immersed for 3 or 4 days. And so I used to go every year to the Romance Writers of America conference, and I didn't miss one at all. And I budgeted for that because I really, really thought it was important for my career to be there, to learn from other writers, to learn from editors, to learn from publishers, to find out what was going on in the industry. So it was definitely worth the investment that I made. So there's those type of things, conferences and workshops that you can attend to, again, get more. So as you're noticing, right, so when you first start, it's not really costing you very much. And then as you progress, you are investing a little bit more, because if you're serious about writing, then you want to get better and better and better. So, and then finally, when I became a published writer, of course, then it costs me more, because at that point it's like, okay, now I need a website. I need to have certain things for my business, because now it's not just me writing. Now it's me having a business, paying for web hosting, having somebody design my website, paying for at first, when I first started writing, I was selling to publishers, so I didn't have to worry about paying for an editor or cover designer, because the publisher was doing that. And books that I'm publishing on my own now, of course, I do have to pay for that. I do have to pay for editors. I have to pay for the publishing, the printing, I guess, of the book. Not really the printing, honestly, because the places like Amazon and stuff do it. Now, if I buy the book, then I am buying just like you are, right? So I'm paying for my book that I'm buying from them, but I don't have to pay for the printing. That Amazon does that, and they take a fee for that. So anyhow, as you become, as you start to publish your book, whether it's with a publisher, right, that buys your the rights to your book, or whether it is you publishing your own book, then you are, of course, investing more money. But it's nothing compared to other jobs. And as you are, I guess, getting better and better and better at being a writer, and it's becoming more of your business, and then at that point you can start considering, well, am I actually making money, and can I leave my other job to become a full-time writer? And again, it's that's something you'd have to decide on, if you're actually making money and if you think that it's worth it, or if it's just something that you continue to do just for the love of writing, and you pay for it, you pay for the expenses from the sales that you make from books. So one of the quotes that I really love from Elizabeth Gilbert's book called Big Magic, and it's all about creativity. Just a really good book if you want to. It's not a novel. It's about being creative. Just using your creativity. And so one of the quotes that I really love from that book is that she's talking about writing, or that she's never going to ask writing, that this passion that she has, to support her. So she doesn't really care, in other words, if she ever sells a book. She doesn't care if she makes money from writing. She's always going to write because she loves it so much. And she has a quote that is something, I'm not going to quote it directly because I don't remember her exact words, but something like that she writes a contract and she promises writing as if it was a person, right? That she promises that she is not going to ever ask anything from writing. She's never going to ask writing to support her, to make money, that she, in fact, is going to support writing, meaning that whatever she has to do to keep paying so that she can keep writing, she's going to do. So she has to have a job so that she can continue to have time to write, or to support that hobby, or that passion of hers. And at that point, and until you are serious about it, I guess it could be a hobby. But to me, I've never thought of my writing as a hobby. It's always been just something that I love to do, and that I do it as my passion and my career. Right. But I really love that quote, because it just shows that, that you can't really, as a creative person, ask this creative outlet to make you money. If it does, then that's fantastic. It's a plus. It's wonderful. But if you love writing, you should write. It doesn't matter if you make money or not. So again, it's not, but it is a business in a sense that, if you take it seriously, right, then you're going to, I think you're eventually going to at least make some money and serve your readers. You're going to be able to create things that your readers want to read. And then, that makes me happy, whether I'm making money or not. If I have people that are actually enjoying the books and they're buying the books because they like them and they like the characters, and well, then it makes it worth it for me. So everybody, is a little different, but that's just something that you need to keep in mind. And eventually, if you keep doing it, you're going to have some success, and you can decide if at that point, if this is something I want to do full time, and if I can afford to work at it full time and quit my job and just be a writer, and that's awesome. But compared to like other businesses, this is so. It's really inexpensive. It's inexpensive to start, and it's inexpensive to be a writer. I know that, like, I had a friend who started a lot of friends that started businesses. My hairstylist, for example, she has to purchase everything. Everything cost her money, from the building to all the equipment that she needs. It's a lot in the licenses and everything that costs a lot of money for her to stay in business. Another friend that started like a pre-cook thing where you can go there and you can get your ingredients and take them home and then just follow the recipe and create your own meal. started a business, and I know that it didn't go well for a long time. So you have to have this huge investment of money, and then it may or may not work. So the nice thing with writing is that it doesn't cost you that money. If it works, fantastic. You have your books. If it doesn't work, really haven't lost anything. You've enjoyed writing. So anyhow, I thought I would just talk about that today, and I hope that kind of helps you feel better about starting writing, and that if one of your fears is that, oh, this is going to cost me a lot of money, and no, it's not going to cost you a lot of money. It's just cost you, maybe it's just your dedication and your time, and any time that I spend writing is, I love it. So it's not like I mind the time that I'm spending writing, because I love doing it. It's just, I would do it for, again, no money. So hopefully, if this was a worry of yours where you were thinking, oh boy, this is going to be really expensive, I'm going to have to do all this stuff. You don't really have to. You don't ever have to buy a book. You don't ever have to buy a course. You can just sit and write. That was my progression. But yours could be just writing, and it just depends on how serious you want to be. And usually it just happens a little at a time. Like, I'm going to do a little bit more. I'm going to do a little bit more. I'm going to read this book. I'm going to go to this course. I'm going to go to this workshop. And before you know it, you're like, oh, I'm all into this. This is so great, right? So thank you for being here with me today. I hope to see you again next week. If you enjoyed this video, please just go ahead and hit the like button. And I think you can subscribe to my channel so that you can come and see me and get notified. If you want to be notified, it sends you a notification saying that there's a new video up. Okay, so thank you, and see you again next week.